Okay, so we installed DNS and created a zone inside. We talked about the virtualization related concepts that you're going to see in the course as well. And also, so we gave a static IP to our Windows Server 2012, right? 2012 R2, and then we created damage. We installed the DNS. We created a zone for that, and we were about to install. So next steps. So we need to install HyperV. But again, okay, before that, we'll again try to check if our infrastructure software is there, which is that we should have working DNS and DHCP. I don't think we installed DHCP. We did not. Okay. And we need to then install HyperV, and there are some best practices there. We need to have 2 NICs as best practice, and we're going to discuss why, especially for virtualization. And later, so after that, what is the option of live migration of VMs? So this live migration and Hyper-V replica, these are high availability options, disaster recovery options, right? So in the company, in the interviews, they will be asking, hey, okay, I know that you can create a virtual machine, you can create storage, you can create networking, but can you make our virtual machines highly available, and can you do disaster recovery? So if you say yes, then they are interested in you, right? If you're saying, no, I can create a virtual machine and I can maintain that. So maintain, again, the option comes, if it goes down, what do you do? So there is Hyper-V replica in VMware, in Microsoft, and there is fault tolerance in VMware. So we will be trying to concentrate on high availability and disaster recovery options. That's where your demand in the market starts, right? Just creating virtual machine. Now in cloud as well, I'll be pushing you towards cloud, right? Well, for your own good. Otherwise, we can stick to the course outline. But we're going for job-oriented course, right? So we need to know what is required in the job. In the process, you'll get the marks if you're, fulfilling those requirements, and I'll make it easy for you to fulfill those requirements. So the main thing is, are we learning according to the market demands right now? So what is the option of live migration of VMs? Live migration. Live means, so users are connected to the machine, and then machine is migrated over the LAN from one physical server to another. So in other courses, in other colleges, we do that live migration, and students, I request them, hey, get a good hardware so we could do all that, right? So the thing is that this is an investment in your career. It's not just for this diploma or for degree. So that's why you really need a good hardware first now to survive in the field of IT, right? Even in the cloud courses, there are some virtual machines that you're going to be, you have to download, which requires at least 16 GB RAM for its own running from the cloud. So that's going to be a problem if you don't have a good hardware. So try to invest in your career for a long term and try to aim for a good job there in the IT field, right? So what we're trying to do here is we're going to check that do we have infrastructure roles. So we installed DNS here. We should have a working DNS. So let's check it out. And then we're going to have a DHCP as well. I'm going to be throwing questions at you. Let's see if you can figure that out. Try to, be alert on that. And then we're going to go for Hyper-V. So first we're going to try virtualization with Microsoft's hypervisor, which is also second best in the market. And you will see in many companies they are using Hyper-V. Then we'll go for the best in the market, which is VMware ESXi. But before that, my request is, please get one more 8 GB RAM, those who don't have it. If you don't have it by 2 weeks, or if you need help, let me know. At least I can redirect you to those guys who can arrange for you, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and so our virtual machine started. That's the virtual machine. So last time we suspended it, or I suspended it, and I'm going to recommend that always do not shut down the machine. Suspend it, but it's up to you. If you shut down, it doesn't matter. Suspend, if I resume, it just starts a bit quicker. and whichever windows you have opened, it's going to exactly start from there. It just freezes the whole configuration, all the pages, right? So it's starting now. If you have connection on WhatsApp with those who are not here, so tell them it was a lab today, not just a lecture. I've been through that before. In one college, on 5th week, when I was giving a lecture class, there were, out of 30 students, there was just one student at the end of the hall, and I was saying, "Yay, good lecture." I was like, seriously? Okay, so that's why, well, I want to make lecture attractive, so how about some labs and lecture? Okay, anyway, so maybe you're on this page or maybe you're not, right? If you've suspended the machine, you're on that page. Otherwise, if you shut down the machine, you're not, which is okay, doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna close that here. This is my Virt22, yeah. Okay, so you should be on Server Manager right now. I think everyone's on Server Manager, right? Okay, so that's good. First thing. Second thing, do you see this DNS, the third one, fourth one, sorry, here? Everyone sees the DNS here, right? Well, everyone who was able to finish the lab. Okay, and if we go to the tools here, and we don't see DHCP, so we're gonna quickly install DHCP, and then we're gonna go for Hyper-V. Wow, it's 224 already. Okay, anyway, so I'm used to 4-hour labs, but yeah, it's I have to just no, I'm not saying you should be going for 4-hour labs, but all of the colleges it is like that. Okay, anyway, so add roles and features here, and let's go next. And role-based or feature-based installation. Next. So yeah, this is just piece of cake, right? So we've been through that. So your name is showing here and the IP is showing there. I hope it's the correct one. Showing if you, I'll just make it zoom in and click next. And then what are we selecting here? DHCP. So let's click that DHCP here and click add features. So then click next. If you're getting any errors and you cannot go out of this, please take a screenshot of that error. I really need to know why you stopped and why you're not uploading it today. So if you have a reason, please take a screenshot or take a camera picture or whichever. So take a proof of some type, right? So features, nothing in the features. Let's click next. And then we go ahead with, well, this is just an introduction. Next. And let's click restart. If there's a pending restart, it will, otherwise it won't. So press yes here and click install. So DHCP, why do we need that? Because some of the, we're gonna go nested virtualization, which is virtualization inside virtualization. So what that means is we're slowly just creating our basic infrastructure, and on top of that, we're gonna keep on making it more complicated, trying to understand more complicated concepts there. So right now we have just one machine here, and that machine has will have, so there's an OS here. On top of that OS is going to be a Hyper-V, and on top of that Hyper-V will be what? So Hyper-V is a OS or hypervisor? Hyper-V is a hypervisor, right? Hypervisor is that light software that does one job only, and that is host virtual machines. Remember that, memorize it. Hypervisor hosts virtual machines, that's it, right? So on top of that, we're going to be creating VM1, maybe if we can, VM2. So we're not going to give a lot of RAM and CPU to these virtual machines, but it's all about, this course is all about how these virtual machines really work, what kind of virtual hardware we need to give, virtual CPU, virtual RAM, virtual storage, virtual networking. So what can we give it, how can we give it, and then the more industry specific topics like if the host, this whole machine is a host, right? Windows 2012, OS Windows 2012. If this host crashes, can you keep the services on top of that which are installed in this virtual machine, can you keep them highly available? Suppose the whole host crashes and the end users were connected, will the end users still stay connected or not, even if it crashes? So there are some technologies that can make it happen, and the end users which are connected will stay connected, but we're gonna come down to those when we have configured it properly. So this is a host and Windows Server 2012. So that's where we're going for. So HyperV will be hosting virtual machines on top of that, right? That's what I'm talking about here. So if we go back here, I hope this DHCP is configured. And if it is configured, anybody clicked closed already? There was a close button, right? So there was a big temptation to click the close, which is okay. So if you click this, this is okay. Otherwise, if you missed it, you can see that yellow triangle here, which just shows the same thing. Complete DHCP configuration. Just go for that because we need to create a scope, right? So just click that or click here. It's the same thing. Let's click that DHCP. It's going to create a security group, 2 security groups there, which is okay. And let's click commit. And it is done. I hope everyone's seeing done. Nobody's seeing error. Okay. Let's click close. Now we can just close this wizard as well. And what you can see there on the left side is DHCP. So let's just quickly configure it so we can go to HyperV with whatever time is left now. So DHCP here, and then we go ahead with right click here. So go to tools or open DHCP, or just come here and open DHCP manager like this. Once you click the DHCP manager here, then expand that, and you can see your first name Win01. And if you expand further, IPv4, first of all, I hope everyone's IPv4 is green. No one's IPv4 is red, right? So this is your first screenshot. Take a first screenshot, DHCP installed. The label is, take a first screenshot, and the label is DHCP installed. So I'll just put it in OneNote, which later you will be seeing that. Yes, this is today's document, and it will be uploaded. Okay, I still did not create the Dropbox, so we'll be emailing that today as well. So this is a separate document, guys, but it is still, the whole course will be a continuation. This lab, on top of that, we're going to be creating more stuff there. So we're just going to go ahead and, so this is screenshot 1 equals, and that is DHCP installed, because it shows your name there, because the name of the server is like that, right? So screenshot 1 equals DHCP installed, and if that is already done, just put it in an MS Word document for today, and then we're just going for, so once the DHCP is installed here, then right click on IPv4 and this new scope. I hope everyone's there. Right click on IPv4 and new scope. Once you go to new scope, so there's a wizard here, right? And in the wizard, let's click next. So you can give here your first name scope. You can give here your first name scope. And then click next. Your first name scope and click next. Well, we can just give here our IP range. So last time, if anyone remembers, what was the IP, static IP we gave to this machine? 200.1. Okay, nice. 200. So 192.168.50 up to 100. We can just give that range here. 192.168 200.100. We're not gonna have that many machines from 50 or 50 machines. We're gonna have just 1 or 2 machines. But we will be checking our networking. Does this machine, the machines that we're going to be creating inside our HyperV in future, will they get an IP from DHCP? If our networking, virtualized networking is correct, I'm going to explain every bit of it, how it is working, how the data flow is going, but DHCP is there to prove that your networking is okay. So that's why we need DHCP. So if you have put in that information here, let's click next. So we don't need exclusion range. In MCSA, normally we discuss that for half an hour as well, but that's not our MCSA course. So let's click next. Lease duration is 8 days, okay. It's not running after that, so no problem. Next. Yes, I want to configure these options now. What options? What's the gateway? What's the DNS? So he just wants to know that. So let's click next here as well. So there's a gateway here. So we did give a fake gateway there, 192.168.200.1, which is itself, and click add, and click next. And then there's I think DNS is detected already for everyone, right? Anyone not seeing that, let me know. So everyone is supposed to see that. Okay, so let's click next. So DHCP is supposed to know what is the DNS. We don't need Windows Internet Naming Services. This is just purely for Microsoft machine name resolution. We go for DNS, which is for Linux and Microsoft and everything else. So let's click next, and that's it. Yes, I want to activate the scope now, and click next, and finito. So we get a scope here that will allow us to have IPs given to those virtual machines that we'll be creating inside HyperV, which we're about to install. But that will prove that our networking is okay within virtualized environment there. So the DHCP is created here. So that's your second screenshot that DHCP Scope created. The label for the second screenshot, which should look like this, DHCP Scope created. The label for the second screenshot is DHCP Scope. It's your first name Scope. That was the first screenshot. DHCP Scope created. So second screenshot is, so the scope is 200.50 up to 200.100. So DHCP Scope created, and if that is done, so I'll just on OneNote I'll just quickly add that as well. Screenshot to DHCP Scope created. Okay, so now what we see here is DHCP is done. Let's just close that, and let's go for HyperV. So HyperV is a virtualization solution or the hypervisor of Microsoft. You can install it two-way. Either you can install it on a bare metal machine, the HyperV, or you can install it on top of an operating system. So what we're doing is we're installing it on top of an operating system here. Later, if we could, we will go for a bare metal deployment of HyperV, but we're going to definitely go for bare metal deployment of ESXi VMware hypervisor. We're going to just try to understand this hypervisor first. So let's go ahead to dashboard, and on the same server where now you have infrastructure roles of DNS and DHCP, now we're going for HyperV. So let's click the add roles and features. Oh yeah, I need to give you a code as well. There will be a workaround because I want you to see the error first. So let's click the add roles and features, and let's click next, and yes, next, role based or feature based, nothing here. Your first name, IP, nothing here. Next, until you reach this roles window, and you can see here this HyperV. So let's click that HyperV and click add features, and the error should come now. That was quick. So it is saying there HyperV cannot be installed. HyperV is already running. Which one? VMware Workstation is already running. So these guys are rivals, right? So they won't allow the rival hypervisor, because within the VMware Workstation, when we install VMware's other hypervisor, which is called ESXi, it will let it install, but it's not letting this one install. So what we need to do is, okay guys, if you have this error, that's your third screenshot. Take a screenshot, error installing HyperV, because at home or wherever you need to go and do that for test environment, you should know how to make it happen. So error installing HyperV. So this is the error. Take a screenshot, and screenshot 3, error installing HyperV. So screenshot number 3 is error installing HyperV, and this is a screenshot that you're getting, and your name Win01 is already there. So if you see that, obviously we can't go ahead now. So let's press OK. Now this is not the problem with Windows Server 2016 actually, and 2019. you just put that processor Intel VT option enable, and that's enough for the rest of the operating systems. So let's press OK here on the error, and so that is, we need to really go with some kind of workaround. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to quickly just mention here. So if we see the error, so installation steps, so installation going on, right? So that is during installation, if we see the error, then we need to go for a workaround. And workaround, so workaround is shut down this VM. So let's shut down this Windows 2012 now. Like close that error and shut down this VM, and then we will go to the folder location of this VM on C drive of our laptop. We will open a .vmx file, which is a configuration file. We will enter 3 lines of code carefully. Just copy paste actually. So then save and close it, start the VM again, and install HyperV. Okay, that's all. So let's do that, and I'll send you the code as well. That's everywhere on the internet. This is the way. So let's go for, so I'm just going to cancel out from this select server roles or the wizard for this, and right click on the top here and power, and go for shut down guest. If you shut it down internally, whatever.
I'm sorry, like that is a terrible way to do it, because you can corrupt your VM like that. You need to do it from PowerShell. Like I'm not, like it's bad practice.
I did that for the last 7 years.
But that's a terrible way. If you're working in the industry, like I run servers at home. If you close the VM like this, you will corrupt your data in a database. It's a terrible way to do it.
This is a trading software, first of all, so we don't use VMware Workstation here or there. So we don't do this way in production environment. This is just for training environment, right?
From prereqs in this class where we do network admin, like we've already done network admin.
Yeah.
It's been told explicitly that this is not a way. I know it's a practice, but it's also practice to follow good practices with VM.
Good practices, let's install 2016, and we don't have to do that.
Yeah, but like a lot of companies don't use 2016, they use 2012.
No, again, why you're comparing it with companies? Companies use ESXi and HyperV. This is HyperV on top of OS. Companies go for HyperV directly on the hardware, right? Bare metal hardware. This is just a training environment. This has nothing to do with production environments in the sense of installation. There, just take a DVD or USB, install HyperV directly on the hardware, right? We don't have to go through all that there. So this cannot be compared with that company. This is not best practice, obviously. This is, we are making it work so we can go for virtual machine. We need to learn more about virtual machines, memory, CPU, networking, storage, all about that. So if you want to go for, don't want to go for that, go for 2016. There you don't have to do that. Windows Server 2016. So then you don't have to go for, and it's not going to, corrupt anything. And it's going to work for throughout the course. If you don't want to go that way, there's another way. 2016 exactly works like 2012. You can install 2016 and you don't have to do that. But any questions, please?
No, it just contradicts everything we've learned as a prereq for this course. That's just what I'm pointing out.
It contradicts how I don't understand. I just need to make it work so we could go for the actual thing.
Like if you want to risk of corrupting your VMs,
it's never going to corrupt, but you don't have to go that way if you don't want to. It's okay. You don't have to go for it. You don't have to do this. I'm not going to cut your marks. So, but no, I understand what you're saying. It's not the way to go. So guys, there is another way, and that is, let's get the 2016 ISO, and it will just install HyperV directly, right? That's the way for prereqs of the course. It's going to fulfill the prereqs of the course as well. But 2012, it takes lesser memory because we have memory issues here as well, right? So what's the deal? I mean, I can go your way, no problem.
No, we've learned how to like properly close the VMs without the possible corruption of data. Because if you're closing a VM like this, it's very similar to just unplugging it. So the power, like all you have to
I
do
get
is
it.
PowerShell.
I get it. Okay, now I get it. What you're exactly saying here. So what is the difference between power off and shutdown?
It's not a power off. So you want to close your VM through close your VM through say PowerShell. So it's just the line of shutdown.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I thought you were saying something else. Okay, see this? Right click here. How to properly shut down in production environments. The operating system. I'm asking you to shut down operating system, right? So see this? Right click here and go to shutdown and shut down this. This is one way. In the other way is go to PowerShell and stop dash computer. That also shuts down, right? So this is good, right? This is okay, right? Okay, let's go this way, right? But if you read the documentation of VMware Workstation, that shutdown guest does exactly the same thing this does. But you have to read that VMware Workstation documentation for that, right? So it is safe to do that way, but we will not go that way because, okay, that's a legit point there. But yeah, what we don't do is this. We don't go for power off. So it achieves the same thing as per the documentation, but we can go as you suggested, which is also good. This is a good point to make there, that we cannot just pull the plug on the machine. That's very good. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I think accidentally just restarted. So I'm just gonna right click here and shut down like this. So everyone gets that? And then it's gonna ask for a reason. So it is this other plant. We can just give a reason here, hardware maintenance, hardware installation. So we can give right now any reason here and continue, right? So exactly, you're right. If you shut it down like as if it's going to be pulling out the plug, so it's not going to wait for any services to shut down. It's going to just shut down. So that is called power off. Shutdown guest is safe, but we can go this way. Okay, anyway, so what we are trying to do here, guys, is that there is edit virtual machine settings. And what we can go for is, let's click the edit virtual machine settings here. Let's click that. And I hope everyone's there. Everyone shut down the machine, right? And let's go for options. And if you're on the options, you're already clicked this general, right? And you can see the working directory here. I hope everyone's able to see the working directory. If you're not, I'll repeat it for you. We're all there. So what you need to do is, so what are we trying to do? We're going inside the virtual machines folder, and then we're going to access its configuration file, right? So how to do that? You can just, if you're in the working directory under the options, then just Control A and Control C. So working directory, just select the whole thing, Control C, right? And then go down to right click and run. And in the run, Control V, that's it. So this is the virtual machines path. This is in your laptop C drive where it is. So press OK. And here, what you see here is some files, few files here. Now, are everyone able to see the extensions? If you're not able to see the extensions, see this, go to view. If you're not able to see the extensions, go to view, and your file name extension should be clicked here, right? So view and file name extension. If it is clicked, you should be seeing the extensions. And what is the extension? See this, .vmx. This is a configuration file. This is going to be, one of the questions in the exam, and plus in the industry also. They would expect you to know that this is the brain of the virtual machine, right? So configuration file, and whatever changes you make here, you should know what you're doing. Normally, we don't go there in my contracts. Normally, I never had to go there for any reason, even for toughest troubleshooting. I never had to go there. So, but this is where we can go and make it work. So .vmx here, and right click that .vmx. Once you right click, you have to open this with Notepad. So open with, and if I just go for open with, I can see the Notepad, but are you able to see that Notepad? So if you're not able to see that, what do? Choose another app. So I'm going to go that way as well. Choose another app. Are you able to see now the Notepad? Okay. If you don't, what do? Go for more apps, right? And once you go more apps, then you go way down until you see Notepad. Everyone's able to see that, right? So if you see that, double click that. If you see the Notepad, if you're not, raise your hand, I can help you, or somebody beside you can help you as well, right? So double click that Notepad, and then comes the messy VMX file. In that VMX file, we can go way down. So this is just telling configuration of a basic virtual machine there. So if the question comes that what is the purpose of VMX file for a virtual machine, it is the configurational changes are all there in the virtual machine. This is the brain of the virtual machine. All the configuration parameters are there for the virtual machine. What could be the display, how vMotion, how floppy disk, USB, SATA, SVGA, all kinds of tools. Everything is written here. And if you're an advanced VMware administrator, then you would know how to really use that or make changes. Be careful there. So soft power off is true here, right? We can make it false, and then it won't shut down from that shutdown button here, right? Just an example of how sensitive this area is. Okay, guys. So if you're all there now, so what I can do is I can quickly share with you that 3 lines there, and I hope everyone has internet connection. I hope everyone has Facebook, Twitter. 2012. Okay, so there it is. So guys, I'm gonna just share with you 3 lines of code, and you just need to get that at the end, copy paste at the end of this, right? So these are 3 lines of code, and are you able to actually type it, or shall I just send it to you? Oh, good. Okay. So dots, spaces, quotes have to be exactly the same. At the end, wherever you put, at the end of it. So the class is starting now, and okay. So, sir, where are you? It's 2 to 3 or 3 to 4?
Yeah, it's only 1 hour. Yeah, we have 9 minutes left.
So, hey guys, are we? So go ahead and type it at the end of the document, and it has to be exactly the same. How would we know? When we save and close, start the machine, and try to install HyperV, that HyperV will not have error. This means that you put the code right. Otherwise, come back here and put the code again. Or you can just take a picture of that, and you can just see in the camera if you had to go back here and put the code. Sorry? Yes. Both sides are equals, there's space. Actually, that space kind of doesn't matter. But the quotes, true, false, your dot, that matters. But that space is not. So you're gonna see that when you have written it correctly, you will be able to then you won't be able to see that if you open the document again. It will be just mixed up in different lines up there. So right now, everyone has typed it, and do take a picture of that, or I'll be putting that document up there as well for those who are not able to do that lab. Okay. So if you're done, close the document and save it, or save and close, or close and save, whatever, right? And power on the machine. If you're done, save and close, or close and save, same thing. Power on the machine after that. And yeah, what we were doing, just try to go right ahead of that error, right? The next step of that error, and stop there. which is where we got the error before, right? Which is Hyper-V was not, there is another hypervisor there. Oh, you're there already? It's working? Oh, okay, you're, so stay on the, do not go at the end of the Hyper-V because, oh, okay. Okay, so guys, I hope everyone is done. So I'm just gonna, I have the luxury of copying it. So I hope, otherwise I'll be pasting that too. And done. Okay, seriously, the codes, fast. Okay, I'll just go fast now. Oops. Okay, I'll just control S and close. So if everyone has done that, I'm just gonna power on the machine now and press OK and power on. Okay, if it comes, just press no to this one. If it comes, cannot connect to the virtual device, just click no. And go ahead, anyone able to test and it goes ahead of that step where we got the error before? Perfect, very good, very good. Guys, you can, okay, I'll just go there quickly and go. Come on, 54, serious? We just started. Okay, anyway, so guys, if you keep on going, you'll be able to do a lot of very, very critical labs that I really want you to have experience of. So I'm just gonna go add roles and features now, which everyone knows already, and my mouse somehow just gave me, okay. And oh, really? Okay. So next, we already know where to go, right? Next, and I'm going to Hyper-V now, and I'm going to click the add features, and there should be no error now. So if you still got an error, you just have to revisit and put those 3 lines of code again. Otherwise, if you didn't get an error, you're good. It's 5 minutes left, not second. So thing is that we need to wrap it up. But we're trying to just get that environment up and running, and we'll be doing a lot of stuff here for virtualization. So on Friday, we meet and we continue, and we create virtual machines, virtual memory. We're going to talk about everything virtual. And if we do some advanced labs there, then I can get you to the cloud labs as well, which are just theory in the course. But it will be better if we actually go there and do that, right? Here, exactly if you're on this page, because I need to explain the rest of the page, we cannot just go next. In fact, I'm just going next, but on this page, which is 3 pages ahead of where we were, I need to explain a lot of stuff here before we go ahead. So we should know exactly what we're doing, why we're doing that, whatever we're doing, right? So without the why, we cannot go ahead, right? So Hyper-V is selected here, and keep it there, and you can see up there that it freezes the whole configuration. If you want to just shut down, it's okay. Otherwise, this is suspend guest as well. Suspend guest freezes the whole thing, right? And if you want to shut down, that's perfectly okay, but suspend will exactly start on Friday, exactly from here. So I'm going to suspend the machine here, and today's screenshots are total 3, right? Okay, that's it. So I did not create that Dropbox again. I don't know why, but I'll be just doing that before this Friday, hopefully. So you could just email me today's screenshots with your name of the document and ID and week 2. Yes, sir. Couple of for. No, anytime. So tonight before 11:59, just anytime before that. That day 11:59 is the deadline. That day, whichever lab is there, whichever day is there, that day 11:59. Default deadline, right? So that would be week 2 lecture, because it's basically for lecture. So week 2, and you can say lecture. So, and then week 2 lab would be on Friday. But you're gonna have then proper lab. So guys, again and again, my request is those who have 8 GB RAM, please get another stick of 8 GB and put it there in the laptop. Otherwise, if you're unable to get some better seller, then let me know. I'll give you a number. Ask from that person as well as just go Kijiji and research on that. But you really need 8 GB. It's your career investment. It's not just for this course. You will learn a lot if we install vCenter, big applications, and try to really understand the more complicated features of those applications, right? You need good hardware if you want to survive in the field of IT. You really need good hardware, right? So at least 16 GB, better 32 GB. So if you don't get any seller, then you just email me. I'll just give you a number. That guy also has a lot of 8 GB, 16 GB sticks. Yes, sir. For dictionary problem? Okay, let me check that. So I'm just gonna suspend that guess here, guys, and see you Friday sharp 2, so we could achieve a lot more. And this video will be available by tonight. Actually, tomorrow. This video will be available because I need to go some of the college as well. So by tomorrow you will be getting that video. So you need to do this lab. You need to reach here before Friday.